Afternoon troops, another day, another drain, well in this case a river. Oh, I was lazy this morning, I was working all night. I got single bleep, working all night, got home about 7. I thought, I don't know if it's old age or laziness or what, I thought sorry, I went to bed for a couple of hours, so I'm up and out and fishing by midday. I'm on a local stretch, it's free fishing. Gets really hammered this stretch. I mean really hammered. But if you've got a bit of patience, it can throw up a decent fish. And what I mean by patience is, what you tend to get along here is a car will pull up midweek, evening, when no one's around, and they'll go through the section with their spinning rods and they'll absolutely hammer it, and then they'll be off to the next spot. So they're not always hanging around, they're after instant hits, they're after anything that swims really, you know what I mean? They don't even care if they foul hook anything, they're freshen their lures through, nick a fish or two and then go. Sadly that's, you know, it's the state of every river and every part of the country now. Anywhere where it's open access, it does get hammered. But on the upside is it doesn't get a lot of attention from serious anglers, which is a shame. You know, more serious, that's why I make videos as well, another reason. More serious anglers on the bank, more eyes and ears you got to spot what's going on and report it. I'll leave the EA hotline number below. If you see any illegal fishing, report it on that number. And yeah, so it's, if you've got a bit of patience, I mean you can sit here in blank, don't get me wrong, but I've had some cracking afternoon sessions on here or morning sessions when I've just come out, flicked a couple of rods out, no expectations, think to myself for a couple of hours. I'll leave a link to one of the videos up here. You can catch some decent fish. So that's where we've got 3 baits out. You've got to be in it to win it. So we've got a small roach on the left hand rod. That's on my running water paternoster rig. And middle rod, got static dead bait, that's half a sardine. And on the right hand rod, I've got 3 4-ounce roach. Again on my running water paternoster rig. So we've got 3 baits in the water. Got 3 opportunities to try and catch a fish. I think what I'll do is I'll probably sit here for about 2 hours, and if it doesn't produce, I shall move all my gear 100 metres or 200 metres downstream and see if there's any pike there in the margins or feeding around. But at the moment, it's a glorious day, about -2, -3 at the moment. That's not why I stayed in bed. No, I was cream crackered, so I thought I'd have a couple of hours kip and then hit the river. It's running down, it's thinning down, it's getting better and better every day. Sadly, there's another low due to come in soon, so you know, it's 2 steps forward, 4 steps back at the moment, but we're out, we're dead baiting for pike, and let's see if we can get a 20 under our belt this the start of the year. A 24 for 24. Well, as you can tell, I haven't moved. I had a couple of visitors on the bank, so I've been gassing and chin wagging, so it's a little bit too late to move now, I think. 2 hours of daylight left, so I mean I could move a couple hundred metres I suppose, but I've had a good look down there, and the bank's quite precarious at the moment. I stepped into, when I first arrived here, to put my rod rests in, and went almost knee deep straight in. It's just, you know, it's everything's where it's flooded, everything's sopping wet, and you got to watch where you're walking. So I've had a good look down here. I mean, there are places, but they don't look as appealing as this little swim. But at the moment, nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. There's a little bit of debris coming out of the drain. That's nothing, no problem. But no interest from anything. There's no signs of any silverfish. The sun's gone down behind me now, so it's very, very cold. So I'm hoping that keep moving the baits, pump them in with oil, and hopefully we'll attract something in. But at the moment it's very, very quiet. A disaster of disasters. I left my coffee caddy on the kitchen table this morning, well this afternoon, when I got my gear ready and went out. It's just sat there. I thought I'd have a nice hot cup of coffee. Fail. But luckily enough, I always keep patches of cup of soup in my bag and everything during the winter. So no coffee, but plenty of soup. So we're nice and warm. Just need a fish to top off this little session. Morning troops, another day, another river. I know I haven't been out all night. It's yesterday was a quick 4-hour session. I didn't even fish into dark because it was quite apparent on that free stretch. There's no silverfish around. If there's no silverfish, there's no pike. So I wrapped up early, went home, cooked for dinner, got some brownie points. It's currently -2. Nice hard ground frost. Margins are still very, very treacherous. Oh, if I caught it on film, you'd have seen it. I nearly lost a boot. I cast out my first rod, and all I did was step not even a foot to the right to do something. Zoom! Oh, down to my knee. Luckily enough, my boots are quite, the neoprene ones at the top, so they're quite tight around my leg, and my salopettes were done up tight, so no water or mud got into it. So yeah. I had to sit down and gently ease my foot up, got it out. The only good thing about this weather is I left all my dead baits in the car, in the bag last night, and they're still frozen. So beat it dragging every bag into the house and putting them back in the freezer and getting them out in the morning. Just left them in the car and they're as right as rain. Yeah, so today I've decided to move up to my club stretch. And the thinking behind today's stretch is a very shallow bay here. I mean, normally along here the margins are like, depending on the river level, anywhere between 8 and 12 foot deep. But here it's only about 6 foot deep for about 20 metres out, 10-20 metres out. Then it drops off slowly a bit. So it's quite a shallow bay. I'm hoping, sometimes you can overthink things, but I'm hoping once that sun gets up, warms the water a bit, the silverfish will be on the move in this bay and the pike will be on the move in this bay. Got 3 rods out, haven't had an instant hit, so maybe there's no pike around, but I'm not in the margins like I normally am, as I say, because it's quite shallow. But got 3 rods out, same it has been the last few sessions. It's 2 paternosters and 1 stag dead, and we're going to hopefully getting some big girls this winter. Ideal conditions, perfect pike weather. I'm sheltered from the wind, whatever wind there is. It's a northerly, but it doesn't reach me here. I say it's a hard frost. Took me about 10 minutes to get one bank stick in for filming. It's priorities, isn't it? Yeah, you see blinking YouTubers. Why don't you concentrate on your rods? So the rods were in. The ground is really hard, so but we're up and running. I've got 3 baits in. I'm going to show you the swim now, and hopefully we're going to have ourselves a few pike out today. As I say, it's -2. It was 2 degrees when I packed up yesterday. It's dropped down to -2. So it was a hard frost, but as with everything, you know, you wrapped up warm. It's no hardship. Let's go and catch some pike. Early morning on the riverbank, kettle boiling. Another glorious morning, isn't it, troops? The amount of lows we've had, the floods, the westerlies, constant rain. This is about the best the river's been in since October. So only got a short window, really, I think, because weather's set to change again. So can't catch at home, as they say. You know, something's topped out there already, so it's looking good. Maybe my plan's going to work. So this is the left hand rod. There's the left hand rod. So it's just flicked out straight away, first rod of the day. So that's out virtually in the margins. It's only about 8 foot deep there. As I say, it's quite a shallow bay. So it's just flicked out, first rod, to see if there's anything close in. You can hear a lot of the ice moving at the moment. It's breaking up a bit. I can't even pick up the middle rod on this camera. I do apologise. I can see it clearly with my eyes, but there it is. So the right hand rod is a static dead, half a sardine presented on the deck. The middle rod is paternostered roach, about 3 or 4 ounces. That's presented 18 inches off the deck. That's in about 10 foot of water there. And then my left hand rod There it is, again that's in about 10 foot of water, and that's a paternostered small roach, no more than an inch long. Again that's 18 inches off the deck. There's no point me adjusting them any higher, as there's not a lot of depth there, but if there's a bit of activity and the water warms up a bit in this bay, I can always readjust them. So here we have it. Plenty of frost and ice around. Sun's going to be up soon. Few birds singing. Let's hope them alarms start singing. Well troops, 2-hour update, not much has happened. We've not had much encouragement this morning. We had 4 hours yesterday afternoon, not a touch. We've had 2 hours this morning, nothing. My middle rod I thought at one point I had a run on, but debris, and quite regularly getting hit by debris. Some rigs don't suit certain parts of your swim, and that paternostered big roach out in the middle of the swim was getting hit by debris. I'm holding bottom no problem, but it was getting hit by debris all the time. So I've had a swap around. So the middle rod I've moved over to the right hand side. So I've got my paternostered 3-ounce roach on the right hand rod, with static dead on the middle rod, so I can add that as my margin rod. And then my left hand rod I had to put a new trace on. Reeled in after I'd boosted the baits to recast, and the trace down to the hook was damaged, so it must have rubbed up against something like a swan mussel or something sharp down there anyway, and it was quite badly damaged as well. So you've always got to check your traces, you know what I mean. So quick 5-minute changeover and that's back out there. So at the moment we've had nothing. Well, you know, I've had a few beeps all on the middle rod, but it's all been debris. The river's not bombing through at all. It's easy to hold bottom. The levels are quite acceptable. It's starting to warm up now, which the reason I chose this little stretch was because the sun would get up, and hopefully this shallower bay, the water would get a bit warmer and a bit quicker. But first couple of hours, nothing. So there was no pike lurking around the vicinity of my swim this morning. As I say, I'm hoping that the shallower water, with the sun beating down on it, is going to warm up a bit quicker than other stretches and hopefully instigate some feeding, some activity from silverfish, and then the activity from the pike. So far we're 6 hours into this week's efforts, and we ain't had a fish yet. We ain't had a run yet. So hopefully things will change around pretty quick now that sun's getting up and the water's warming up. Most of the grass behind me, all the frost has gone. Down here where I am, it's still frosty because it's been out of the sun most of the morning. But 3 rods in. Let's see if we can catch something now. Well, we're 4 hours into today's session. 4 hours yesterday, different part of the river. We're a mile upstream, maybe a mile and a half upstream, and altogether the same the same outcome at the moment. I had one glimmer of hope. I thought I had a run. All excited. It was a big trip, big clump of weed came down. It took the middle rod out like it was a run, but so I got all excited, but soon realised it weren't a fish. And The sun's up now, as I wanted it to be. You know, I said I wanted, the reason I fished this stretch was because once the sun got up, the water would warm up a bit more in the shallow bay, and hopefully there'll be some activity. Hasn't proved the case yet. I've been moving the rods around now. You know, I've had a good change up. The left hand rod is now static dead. I've had to move the rod completely because where the sun's come up and everything's forward out, it's an absolute quagmire. I went to cast the left hand rod out, both legs down to the top of my boots, so I had to quickly get out of there sharpish. So I've moved my rod, so my left hand rod is now a static dead bait. It is right down the left hand track behind a bank of weed, an old weed bed, so it's in slack water there. Not that it's bumming through or anything, but I thought I'd try something different. So I've got a static dead in there in the slack water. The middle rod is paternostered sprat, and my right hand rod is paternostered roach. And things stand at the moment, we ain't had a touch. I mean, not a touch, not a glimmer of hope. So I've had a good walk downstream, good walk upstream. There's no likely looking spots or swims, and with this mud melting, and with the sun melting all the ice, it's really muddy, still very treacherous underfoot. You know, you've got to pick and choose where you're going to fish, and at the moment I'm in a better position than anywhere along this section. I've had to move up the bank 6-7 foot to where the grass is quite lush. Otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do anything. It's absolutely clagging. Every time you do anything, you've got to come back and you've got to spend 10 minutes getting the mud off your boots. It's really bad at the moment. But I always say, we've got 3 baits in the water, we've got a chance. We're dead baiting for pike. Sometimes it's all action, sometimes it's blinking hard work. Today I thought was perfect conditions. The river's it's pumping through a little bit, nothing major. There's a little bit of silt and silkweed on your line when you reel in, but nothing to cause you any problems. Depth is spot on, so current is fine. Everything looks set fair. Just I need a run. I need a run. I'm going to pray to the fishing gods in a minute. You know, it looks great. It really does feel great, but it don't feel in there at the moment. It doesn't feel like anything's going to happen. But that can all change. You know, all of a sudden it can go potty. So I'm going to concentrate, keep my wits about me, keep moving the baits around, repositioning them every half hour, 40 minutes, and then just hope that we get some of them big girls that are in here. As you can see now, it's dead calm. Witching hours amongst us, and we've really worked hard the last day and a half. 4 hours yesterday, 7 hours so far today, 11 hours without a run. It is really difficult, troops. Treacherous underfoot as well. Glorious evening. Well, it's not even an evening, is it? It's an afternoon. It gets dark that early. But I've got one rod mid-channel, one rod margin, one rod quarter of the way across. Not been able to find a single fish today, and a single fish has not found my baits. It has been really difficult. Perfect pike weather, I would have thought this morning. The condition of the river's tip top. You know, the banks are treacherous, but the actual conditions in the water are fantastic, I think. I thought I had it sussed. Oh no, I didn't. Still, it ain't dark yet, so we've still got a chance. Let's catch us some pike. Oh, we waited all day. All day for that. But it's a fish. A fish is a fish. First run, whole roach, about 3 or 4 ounce roach, static dead on the deck. And I see the line playing out before I even got any indication, but what a beauty. There she is. All right, it's a he, very small. Jack, let's get him back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got one. Gently into the water. It's lively, it'll go straight away, but I always let him. He's ready to go, look. Well trooped, we nabbed one. Half hour before it's getting dark. It is getting dark now. It doesn't look like it on the camera, but it is very dark, very low light conditions. If you've stuck with it to the end of the video, I don't know if this is the end. I might, I might winkle another one out, but it's been tough going. It's just goes to show you. A lot of people say, oh, piking's dead easy, you just got to stick a bait or a lure in front of them and they'll have it. But you got to remember, you're fishing in the depths of winter. You're not always guaranteed a bite, let alone a fish. It's, it's been 12 hours for one fish, and it weren't even a double, it was a jack. But we got there, we haven't blanked again, which is good. So we're keeping ticking over. We're catching fish on a regular basis, but we're not getting high numbers or big fish this season so far, which is really unusual. I mean, on here, on a good day, when it's tip-top conditions, and I think it is, you'd look at, normally you'd catch at least half a dozen fish during the course of the day, but so we've really struggled. We've had one out. Ain't over yet. Just had the last cast, so it's got 3 baits out as per norm. I've got a right hand rod's got a whole sardine on still, middle rod's got a small roach paternostered, and the left hand rod's a static dead, and that's a roach. That was the winning formula. I was really pleased with that because the static deads have been struggling to convert runs. I got a nice positive run off that jack. Well hooked, no issues at all. Just need a big girl to come along now. It's thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. It can be hard work in the middle of the winter and not much is happening, but that's fishing. That's winter fishing for you. You've got to put up with the rough with the smooth. You've got to put in the hours and the hard yards to get the rewards. Ain't had them yet today, but it ain't over.